in row 2, right behind that budding rivalry. It involves a 21-year-old rookie, his first oval competition. His name is Tomas Scheckter. His dad, Jody Scheckter, former world champion. And what did Tomas do? Well, he out-qualified his boss and new teammate, Eddie Cheever. And he did it after crashing in practice. Climbed into a backup car that hadn't turned a wheel this weekend, and he broke the track record. He ends up starting 3rd. Bob Jenkins, we may have a brand new star in the making right here in the IRL.
And we may have a new star.
And you think about these guys, as I mentioned, they've been off since October, but they get out there, 200 miles an hour, wheel to wheel.
Up car against the wall. And that is Cheever. Eddie Cheever. This is what you would not have expected.
Well, absolutely.
If you're going to have a wreck in that team, you would have expected the rookie.
Well, you'd hate to say it exactly. From what we saw the other day with Tomas Scheckter, had a lot of confidence. We didn't really think that it would be his team owner, Eddie Cheever, doing the damage today.
So the caution comes out here very early on. I was going to say that with 10 guys who have never started here, there was a concern that they might be the problem. Instead, it's the veteran Cheever. Here it is.
Well, man, you know, there's going to be some discussion in the trailer tonight.
Going to be a long talk in the trailer between Cheever and his new protege.
And
let's go to Gary Gerald.
Eddie Cheever released from the hospital. Obviously, you're all right. What happened on the track? Did you get pushed off the groove?
No, my teammate hit me from behind. DeFerrin passed. I filtered him behind him, and he just came in too deep. We talked about this the whole weekend. Take your time. Make sure there's room in a pass. I would be just as angry right now if he had hit somebody else on the track. It was uncalled for, stupid, and right now I'm so angry I'm beside myself.
That's Eddie Cheever. Boy, what a tough way to start a brand new racing season.
Yeah, and if I'm Scheckter, I think I'll make sure I stay out for the whole 200 laps. And then, if I can win it, that would be a good thing, too, because then I won't have to talk to Eddie for a while.
well, that might take
Second behind him, then Radon, then Ward. And Barron keeps working on Unser Jr. Scheckter there is a very interested spectator. Barron loses momentum. Scheckter takes advantage of it. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Nice.
Very nice.
That's the price that you pay, as we saw with Barron. You take a stab.
It's wide out there and try to make that pass through the corner.
And Ren is trying to check out. Ren is over 2 seconds out. There's a good battle for 4th position.
Oh, look at Scheckter.
Get off the wall.
Man, oh man, he came very close to plugging that thing right in the fence right there.
He's lost 2, 3 positions, maybe more.
Well, he's just trying to gather himself back up because he, when you do that, you get marbles on the tires, and it doesn't want to go through the corner very good. So it takes you one complete corner just to get the tires clean enough to run fast again.
Thomas.
But Tomas Scheckter shows that he still is a little bit of a rookie, Bob Jenkins.
Yes, but he is a very spectacular rookie. There is no question about that. Now, here's what happened. He jumped the start. He was black flagged, and he came in for the stop, putting him a lap down. He got back on the lead lap, and then came the restart. Watch what he did. He just came through traffic like you would not believe. Passing one car, then another. Here he is going around Jeff Ward. There he goes around Ayrton Dare. Moving up into the top 10, and he was within 4 laps of needing a pit stop to come in for tires when we had a debris caution that has allowed him to come in for the pit stop and change tires, but he did have problems on the pit stop. That has again put him a few positions back in the standings, so it's going to be very interesting to see if he can come up through the field again. Gary?
Harness comes back at Sarah. Look at the lead. Scheckter fell all the way to 12th, came back. Here comes Buddy Rice inside Giafone for second.
Oh, he muscled his way past there. Got down on the white line and moved them up before they got to the banking.
And here comes Tomas Scheckter. Oh, yeah.
Tomas has the most impressive 30 laps I've ever seen. Congratulations, bro. You just won your first.
Good enough run. No, Castroneves didn't get a run on him.
Well, Giafone got a good restart, but the guys behind really didn't. There goes Franchitti to the heights. Oh, he got contact between 2 cars right there. You saw the puff of smoke.
That was Andretti. That's Andretti down on the inside of the racetrack, I believe, who got way out of the throttle after he made contact.
That was contact with Scheckter. And you saw the puff of white smoke, and Andretti immediately went to the inside and backed out of the throttle.
Right now, but a lot of reports through that halftime of loose race cars. So that means you're not got your foot on the gas as much as you'd like to.
Oh, and Kanaan hits the wall. Championship points change once again. The points leader hard into the wall and takes Scheckter with him. Oh, man, and that's what happens here, just that quick.
A split second usually only takes 2 cars just to touch even very lightly. And there's just no room for error we talked about, and patience on passing. But you get into that rhythm, you get a little bit greedy sometimes.
Second and third place, just that quickly.
Right now you can see Kanaan back there. It looks like Schecter's just trying to poke his nose underneath there. Now Kanaan's running the high line. He's going to come down to the curbing, down to the apex as he's going through the turns. Scheckter sees a little bit of an opportunity, a little bit of a hole, sticks his nose in there. That left rear of Kanaan touches the right front of Scheckter, and it's just a light touch. I can guarantee you, I've lived it, and the car loses grip, and both are passengers going towards the wall. Now here's everything normal, going through turn 1, going into turn 2 for Kanaan. Downshifting and gets touched right away very quickly. And I'll tell you, that's very, very fast. See, now Schecter's getting a run on traffic right now, but just actually drove right into the back of Kanaan. You can hear the throttle sticking open when you touch into the wall.
Scheckter, and this was Scheckter a few laps ago.
That'll get your attention at 215 miles an hour. Up into the gray area, saves it, and just stays away from the wall.
Now tries to get
to make this all happen. He's got to be thinking inside his cockpit right now, inside his helmet.
Big crash! Major incident. Kenny Breck getting way high up into the fence. So 2 cars involved.
That's Scheckter right there. You can see him moving inside the cockpit. His helmet, his steering wheel comes off. Car heavily damaged, but we have one other car right now that is very, very heavily damaged.
Now what will... Oh, 3 wide. Oh, man. I love it. Keating tries to get a nose in way down on the low side. He loses momentum. Scheckter goes by on the high side. Oh, man. That's Roger Yasukawa over there, and Franchitti can't get past him. He's going for gears everywhere.
It's like watching a computer game right now.
Take a look at Tomas Scheckter, the yellow car. Whoa, that was on that restart. You got the momentum, use it.
To keep the speed up.
Kanaan Franchitti continues side by side. This got to be Scheckter's on the pit road.
Almost up with the steering. Steering's loose and then the
And here's the reason why. Whoa. Okay. That's going to require some repair.
Watch right there.
Yeah. Oh.
Good thing that Scheckter didn't end up into the wall.
That's maybe the most dangerous thing that can happen in open wheel racing right there.
I tell you, that was a scary one. You know, it took
16 laps since his stop. Target fastest lap of the day. Tomas Scheckter at 165 miles an hour. Well, that pretty much ended that one for Horning. The question will also be Scheckter. Did he sustain any damage?
Riding on board there, I think he's got a momentum on his side, and I think a win would really put the scare into Tony Kanaan for the championship.
Well, I'm going to have to go with Adrian Fernandez, who's in second right now in that red and green car. Look at him get off the throne. Up high with Scheckter. See him shaking his fist right there? Ended up getting too high on the racetrack from traffic in front. Just a little signal there that I'm not very happy with the maneuvers you did on me.
Yeah, not at all. About next season, will he be with his granddad? He's being sought by several teams to fill what could be available seats.
Whoa! 3 wide. Take a look at Rice now. It's almost like, wow, I've finally had enough of this. I want to get clear.
Sometimes it's better to be in front of that car instead of behind.
He remembers Nashville when he tangled with the Klein Tools car.
On short tracks, it's all about timing, especially if you're Tomas Scheckter. This was the start of the race, came up to speed. Now it's critical. He wants to try and get as many cars as he can. He dispatches Buddy Rice. He takes care of Vitor Mira. He goes by Brian Herta. That's 3 cars on the track that they say you're not supposed to be able to pass. So let's make it 4 cars. Go by Dan Weldon as well.
And Jack, there might be something to that right now because Tomas Scheckter, with Scheckter clapping his hands like that, it's almost like nice job to the other driver. We'll have to see.
We're yelling at them with the way he was driving.
Some observers think that
out there? Are you going to be able to stay out?
this might have been caused in part by Vitor Mira. We'll take a look at a replay and see if we can figure it out. Watch Jock and Scheckter talking together, and they're not happy with each other. Uh-oh. Oh, here it is, Scott.
Thomas is getting a draft right now. A little bit of movement down, coming down on Mira. The car's getting very close. There we go, a little bit of a bump. You know something? And Thomas just followed Lazier up into the gray. Ended up getting into the gray himself. Probably thought they were both going to touch and really had nowhere to go with this. But here you go. Mira's just going off the turn, moving up a little bit. The right rear tire touches the left front of Lazier's, pushes Lazier up into the wall.
In second, Tomas Scheckter now in third, and he's looking for more.
Jill, I think you brought up a great point as they're getting close right now. Remember, still 212, 14 miles an hour, only 6 inches apart from each other. The key thing I think that you mentioned, Jill, is that those adjustments that he did with the weight jacker inside the cockpit probably have helped that wing that has been broken for the car to handle. Wow.
I thought they touched there. Did they touch there?
It looked awfully close. With Tomas Scheckter, no, look at this.
Ellio's telling him, use your head, calm down.
There's still a lot of race to go. And Elio Castroneves and Tomas Scheckter engaged in the swapping of recipes of some sort. And Elio Castroneves gives him the international signal of use your head, according to Gilles de Ferran. And they continue to stay side by side as we go 3 wide.
Just getting through some passing traffic right there with the 20 car of Ed Carpenter.
Oh my. We are working lap 133 of 200. And we are...
Watch this replay here right now. Remember, there was a 100-lap Silver Crown race here before. Some different rubber up around Carpenter. Right now, oh, look at that. Getting the right side wheels, Todd, already on that high side. You're going to have to wait for this racetrack to get into groove, as we call it. He's on the very high side. With that 100-lap Silver Crown race, you're going to have to turn around and make sure that the car starts to put some rubber down the racetrack before these guys have a chance to run that high line.
And the yellow flag comes out already.
Turns 3 and 4, and maybe just started to slide the car a little bit high, but whatever it is, he's regained himself, and he's now on his way back. The right hand keeps reaching down to turn around and change the gears. Here he is going in behind Danny Weldon. Tony Kanaan's directly right there. Didn't look like he really... Oh, look at that wiggle. You talk about a moment, that absolutely is it. That car is probably very loose right now. Neutral race car. Man, you know something? You don't think about that, Todd. That is just a reaction. Your heart starts racing more than 180 beats per minute. And we used to sometimes call that in racing a depends moment.
Well, that flag is out as they bring the engines up. The RPMs are running. Look at this, 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide. Kanaan down the middle, and Tomas Scheckter decides to go south of the border. And he dips way below the white line. And I have a feeling that Mr. Barnhart's blood pressure just went up, and someone's going to hear about it on the radio.
Well, with a car going slow on the restart like that, if the guy missed a gear or something, you cannot run in the back of him, so you end up using the apron. A few cars went down on the apron. It'll be interesting to see if there's going to be some penalties handled out for that.
Back here at Kansas Speedway, the RJ Mortgage 300, along with the Michael Andretti. One of his cars is leading this race, Dan Weldon, but you were just visiting with Kim Green about Tomas Scheckter's move below the white line. What was your concern?
Well, we feel you're not allowed to drive down there underneath the white line and improve your position, and we felt that he did.
How's the day going for the other drivers? Kanaan and Weldon seem to be doing well, but how about Franchitti and Brian Herta?
Dario's running well too, but Brian's car has just been off all weekend for whatever reason, and just having problems.
Let's go to Jerry Punch with Mike Griffin and looking at that Scheckter move now.
Wow, anxious moments a moment ago for the Panther team. Now, Mike Griffin, you're one of the co-owners for Tomas Scheckter, and you firmly believe your driver did not deserve to be penalized for the move a moment ago. Why?
Well, at 200 miles an hour, if the whole field moves down and you have nowhere to go, you have to go under the white line. I mean, you're not going to get out of it. If you get out of it, you're going to go all the way back, and you're still under the white line. So you take your chances, move over a little bit, give away some room, get spread out again. He didn't improve his position while he was under the white line. He didn't do it to pass somebody. So Barnhart apparently on the director's channel said it was okay with him as long as nobody improved their position. We didn't.
All right, there you have it, guys.
The yellow car is bringing him good luck, but Scott, moments ago he had what you like to call a moment in the car.
Outside wheels on the concrete, starts to turn the thing in, and look at that. I'll tell you, talk about a talented driver. One of the guys with the most gift, I think, that sits inside that car right now. Amazing job to hang on to that.
It's at 150 miles an hour. For the latest news in and around the NFL training camps, log on to ESPN.com, search NFL Camp. Should be a good one with Bill Parcells and the Cowboys against Sean Alexander and the Seahawks. As we ride on board, there's Tomas Scheckter just to the outside of Danica Patrick as they go, oh my, 4 wide, 3 wide. Scott, I didn't think we were supposed to go 2 wide here, and I'm sure the IRL officials did not have that in mind.
Well, this altitude up here is supposed to give you 1,000 pounds less downforce, less grip on the race car, but you wouldn't know it the way that these guys and girl are driving 4 wide throughout the center section there.
That was unbelievable. This is a narrow track, and they took it 4 wide.
Watch this, Schecter's getting the run and actually starting to go around Herta, who actually got slowed up. So Danica says, I'll go down the low side, 4 wide going through there, and then Schecter's got to thread the needle all the way through. I'll tell you what, talk about heart rates going up.
That is some great driving at 65 miles.
In the race lead, let's listen in to what happened on the radio.
How much front wing out? Leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it. Leave the front wing. Clear out, clear out. Confirm with me before you change. Leave the front wing. It's fine. He never touched it. It's just fine. Settle down and get back to work.
That was the conversation, guys, that took place during a 10-second pit stop. When Tomas Scheckter came in, remember, this is a guy that doesn't have any weight jacker on board right now, or an inoperative one. And in defense of his crew, they asked several times, they asked Tomas if he wanted wing or not. Tomas did not answer him, and then all of a sudden they went to the nose to make the adjustment. One of the things you should know about Tomas Scheckter, he could very well be the most excitable driver in a race car. And I love what the spotter said, settle back down and get to work.
Well, Tomas is in there.
Look and see how much contact they made. Well, there was 3
on the high side.
There were 3 wide. Tomas
4
Scheckter
wide.
just moved up, and there was big time contact. I can see why the guy on the yellow button hit it. He thought sure there was going to be a huge crash there, as you can see Scheckter had no idea he was out there. He moved up the racetrack, and bam, those guys did a terrific job, both of them, not to be in the wall right there.
Right now, and we're looking at the vision cars, and Scheckter had a moment just a little while ago where actually he had to do a bit of a tank slapper to keep the car actually going along. Now watch his hands here as we're going to go through the turns. Car's working, dirty air from the car in front. He gets up high towards the wall, and the car just steps out on him, shakes his fist at the other driver, goes down a gear to try to keep the momentum up. And right now he's not a fan of Marty Roth, which is the car that he passed on the bottom side. And I don't know if that's maybe a heart palpitation or what I call a depends moment.
And Mark,
you know, I think he probably had the fastest race car on the racetrack at that point in time, so it's a shame. Let's watch here again on the right-hand side of the screen. This orange car with the white on it, the Penske machine is turning around and making some, and you see the sparks coming out also, but he made it so tight for Tomas Scheckter there. As soon as the car is touched, he flattens that rear wheel. You'll see the sparks come out from the Marlboro Penske machine itself because he's actually starting to get the car hitting the ground on the very back.
And boy, the right front side plate on that wing just went right up in the left rear corner of Hornich's tire and just cut it down like a machete. And you can see, stuck his nose in there, cut that tire, pull it right back out, bam, right there. Cuts the tire with the side plate. Perfect replay of that, guys.
you're looking at the race lead because Tomas Scheckter is a man on the move. He started 13th,
And here he is all the way up to 8th in the number 2 car. Let's take a look.
Looking on the outside, going around the high side of the lane. He knows he can get away with that right now because the track is fresh. There's no rubber marbles up there on the track whatsoever. What a great job. And here we go on the onboard right now. Look at this. Gets blocked just a little bit. That looks like the 20 car of Ed Carpenter, that green and white car, just up ahead. Watch from going around the outside now. Takes advantage of again through turns 3 and 4. Remember, he will not be able to run this lane later in the race because it will be full of those rubber marbles off the tires.
What a great run. Let's get more from Vince Wells.
So a great crowd on hand again tonight, and they're seeing a great race as again, here we are, Scheckter side by side this time with Marco Andretti. Oh, we've got a spin. They had contact, and Scheckter, can he hold on to it? Thomas going to come back up? No, he controls it and gets it down, and we have our second caution. What a great save by Scheckter to keep it from going back out onto the racetrack.
Remember, this is just reactions. You don't have time to think about this. Remember, I mentioned the length of a football field in about 0.8 of a second. Now, I did notice his right rear tire was flat just as he came to a stop. So was there contact here, or did the tire go down? Let's watch and see.
Let's just listen.
Oh, a little bit of contact. Now the tire is going to get flat by locking the brakes up and flat spotting the tire and probably just putting a...
Looked like he did come down.
You got to make sure that you can run through there 2 abreast. Now let's watch to see what kind of information we're going to have passed along here.
Oh, well, he threw gloves. At least he didn't throw anything bigger than that. I'm sure that'll get the attention of Brian Barnhart. So we've got a new rivalry. Last week it was Danica and Dan. And next week it's going to be Tomas Scheckter and Marco Andretti. And boy, Thomas is a lot taller with longer reach. If that one goes to boxing gloves, I think Marco better get some help. It's been a run at Belle Isle. We are under our 5th caution here on lap 68. You see Elio Castroneves. He was running 4th, trying to get around Tomas Scheckter, and this is what happened.
And we're just 155, 160 miles an hour, top gear at the end of the front straightaway, and I just don't see how Elio was going to get that put through there, because as you're on your way to the turn, with all the parts and the debris falling over the cars, including the 15 car of
Care Center, he managed to stop with us. And Thomas, was there a problem on your standpoint, or were you at full speed?
No, it's no problem. He hit me from behind. It's clear. And I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. Obviously, maybe he must start thinking about driving and stop thinking about dancing or something, because that was a stupid move. He had pitted for fuel, so he knew I had to pit soon, and he would have taken the position. But to dive me into a 4th gear corner and hit me straight out the back, he's not good for any of us.
When will you have words with Elio?
I don't know, you know. I don't even know if I should have words with him. I think it's clear what he did, and hopefully he comes to me and apologizes. But, you know, we had a great run there, running top 5, and running, to be honest, the most competitive we have been. It's just a pity to throw a race away like that.
Fellas.
Scott, that may be the difference right there, because he was a little battle between Tomas Scheckter and Elio Castroneves, we're told.
Yeah. Hey, we need a cart.
So we'll check in on that. Let's go back and take a look at that. There goes Scheckter on his scooter. Here's the confrontation. Neither one very happy with the other.
Charles Byrne, the head of security right there, making sure that Elio does not get too close to Scheckter. But, you know, this is certainly common, certainly because of the situation. And if you get bravery points, Thomas always gets them all, no matter where he is in a race car. Now you see on the top side the 23 car. Watch what he does here. He gets past the start-finish line. He's on the outside of 1 and 2. Everybody else gets off the gas just a little bit, and he gasses it. Now the 06 he just went past was Robert Dornbos. Did he say, hey, maybe I should be taking my foot off the gas and turn around and maybe trying to drive a little bit too hard? But very certainly, Tomas Scheckter gets the award for moving up the most positions. Started in 16th and now is sitting in 9th spot. Amazing.
Yeah, it is. So great run. Let's go back and see what happens.
Oh, and Alex Tagliani comes in and basically is the bowling ball in the bowling alley as he turns around and just starts punting Mary Marias, who then goes into Tomas Scheckter.
Well, Marias hustles around, and you're right, Scheckter got the short end of that one, and he had nothing to do with it. He was just the victim. A little over-aggressiveness on back to the tempers flaring. And this was
Tomas Scheckter. This isn't the first time we've seen him hurl the gloves.
No, he is just so mad at Alex Tagliani here. But visions of Texas quite a few years ago. He breaks free from the Delphi official, points to his helmet, says, "Are you using your head?" Then he goes off and throws his gloves. I don't know. Gloves are about $250 a set. So
yeah, but the helmet's more expensive.
Castroneves takes the early lead. Everybody makes it through turn 1. Can they make it through turn 2?
They all made it through turn 2. It looks very clean. Did you see?
No, they didn't. On the very tail end, we have a contact into the wall hard. The 21 of Davey Hamilton, the oldest driver in the field. He will be 48 in just about a week. And he's already out of this race.
To start this month, he just really felt he had a great race car underneath him. Now watch here just up ahead. Looks like he wants to go towards the outside, and the 23 of Tomas Scheckter is there. Probably surprised Davey in the 21. The back end got loose, and his day is over before it got going.
Well, Davey, walking out of the infield care center, you look good, Davey. What happened on that first lap?
It's the first lap of the Indy 500, and Tomas Schecter's an idiot. You know, the bottom line, he's an idiot. He's 2 rows behind me. And I'm just taking it easy. We have no spotters down there. And I'm just coming up to the groove, and he appears. And, you know, instead of hitting him, I turned to avoid him, and off we went. So,
what will you say to Tomas when you see him?
Yeah, well, I'll tell him what I think. You know, he does it every year. I mean, it's not a surprise with him, and he gets away with it. But next time I'll take him instead of myself, I guess. So, one of those days.
All right, Davey Hamilton visibly upset after trying to get back to this race at the age of 47.
Scott on ice. If anything goes wrong. And here's what happened on the third and final incident, all on the same lap, basically. Here we are heading down to turn 1.
You know, in this scenario right now, I mean, this sport is really becoming a contact sport. 2 cars going to go for the same piece of real estate. And in the end result, you take them both out.
On board with Marco Andretti. He says, "Thank you, guys. I'll pass both of you." All right, so now you know exactly what happened to all of them, and starts and restarts are going to get trickier as we progress. You heard the call. We're racing again in Indianapolis.
Dixon got hung out because the car in front of him was slow. He's now back in the mix and trying to defend.
And there goes Franchitti.
Dario gets a huge jump. Oriol Servia looked like the car that was slow to get off the bar, and it has cost everybody but Dario. Look at that 3 wide through the corner. Down on the apron, this isn't going to work. Somebody's going to have to back up and take the warm-up lane.
I have never, ever seen that being done.
Was that the 98 of Dan Weldon? I could not quite see the number, but it sure did look like his paint scheme. There he is. No, he's back a little bit further there, so he has dropped back a few spots.
So these cars have been 2 abreast for the whole first lap after this restart.
Side, here they go. Green flag in the air. We're back racing. And we got another spin. Elio Castroneves. He is now into the very same area where Graham Rahal ended up, but he may be able to keep it running.
Until the tires come up to temperature. They think that's the problem right now.
Well, you notice the 22 of Tomas Scheckter. He has taken over for the injured Justin Wilson. He is restarting in the 6th position. He's been one of the few that's been able to make it stick. He has improved 12 positions in these first sets of laps. And we're back to green flag racing again with Dario up front. And look at Scheckter on the high side again.
Reminds me of what Tony Kanaan does many times on starts and restarts.
Side by side with James Hinchcliffe, and Hinchcliffe coming off a great run. Didn't get the final result he wanted back at Mid-Ohio last week, but he showed what he can do at the wheel of the car, and right now he is up front in that pack as well. Hinchcliffe in the 4th position, Scheckter now up to 3rd. He is fighting it out with Oriol Servia.